What is going on, everyone? Steve-O Supremo here, and I am just another game collector, and I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. And hey, before we dive into the video right now, I got to show you guys. We had that awesome pickup on Friday. One more little pickup. We went back the next day and got a SNES Junior. He had this with 2 controllers and all the cables, and I couldn't pass it up for 30 bucks. So I grab it. I didn't have one for the collection, even though I got plenty of Super Nintendos, but I didn't have the Junior. Just had to get it to put in the collection. Sorry. And to give a little quick show off here of the recent pickups, here's some of our complete in box Super Nintendo games that made the shelf. Some of our other stuff has filled in some holes here in the retro section. The other Super Nintendo boxes are on the bottom. I don't know if you guys can kind of, yeah, you can kind of see the top of them there. So the retro section has been growing a lot this year, guys, and I'm excited about it. It's just been an amazing year. Start to the year. It's been incredible. But today's video was going to be a follow-up on our Resellers Killing the Hobby video. That video did really well, got a good amount of views for a small channel like mine, but the response to it was really cool. It was really engaging to see all the different perspectives on it, but the community was like split right down the middle as to whether resellers are truly having an effect on the hobby or not. So I wanted to talk about some of the comments that we had on there, kind of reply to them in a video format so you can hear me speaking, because I know a lot of times when you're typing stuff out, it can sound like really condescending and mean and angry. And I didn't take any of the comments that way. I hope they were all in good faith and everything, like just having a good conversation like we would be face to face. So I thought it'd be more engaging to kind of talk into the mic about it rather than typing it out, and kind of go further in depth as into reselling. So don't know how long this video will be. I mean, my back is already kind of killing me, so if you see the video cuts, it's because I got to stretch and take a drink of some Powerade. So before I start getting too long-winded, let's see, do I want to get into clarifying about reselling first or go into comments? Let's talk about the reselling in general first, just to kind of get my thoughts out there with how I feel about it. If you didn't watch the previous video, mainly, like I said, different tier levels to me. And in some ways, if you're a collector, all of us have resold in some form of fashion. So we're pretty much all resellers. And there's a comment on the channel here. We'll highlight it really quick. We'll go to that one right first off the bat. Make my face small right there from old Baladell. Collectors are resellers and everyone in the hobby is a scumbag. That's probably the best comment left in the video and the most accurate one out of all of them. So he definitely had to get the heart on there for that comment, because it generally is probably the most accurate of how it is in the hobby. Like, you get games, you get rid of games. It's a thing with any hobby. Pokemon cards, toys. I love watching a show channel called Toy Federation every Saturday. I don't really collect toys, but seeing people go in and do their trades and seeing the deal get worked out, it's really fun and entertaining. So collectors are doing it all the time. Specifically, there's only really 2 things that, well, let's say 3 things that are, I wouldn't say it's upsetting, but it's disappointing about collecting and reselling and how it's affected a hobby. One of the first ones being what I talked about in the video, and that was from people like Chase After the Right Price, who in general, I didn't really have a problem with the guy. I enjoyed watching their content until it became like a big just advertisement for, like, come buy stuff from us. That's pretty much all it was. We're going to go buy these games from a convention so you can buy them from us. And then I kind of dropped off and stopped watching them. But the stuff that they did with going to conventions and buying out all, like, the good title games that would actually sell at a convention, I know they would sell because I sell at a local convention here in my area. All the doubles that I get, I set up at the small little show, and all the Mario games and stuff like that he buys up, Pokemon, those all sell. So I think stuff like that, where he goes and starts getting all these deals from vendors and everything, and it's not like in some of his videos, he might just be buying 4 games from a vendor and they still like slash the price for him so he can get a good deal on it. That's the type of stuff I think is kind of scummy at conventions and kind of affect the hobby in a negative way, because that's the stuff people are going to the shows for. But he gets to go in early to the shows sometimes before they even start, and boom, product's already gone. The next thing that I can't stand about how it's affected is because, again, it's a YouTube thing and social media in general. Like years ago, man, I started really collecting and holding on to all my games back in the early 2000s, kind of before YouTube. I was starting to hold on to all my games from my collection and stuff. Didn't have a huge collection or anything, but would hold on to stuff. But with the rise of YouTube and social media and everything, it has just seen an influx of people coming into reselling, mainly just from channels promoting it, saying, hey, look at how you can make extra money on the side, which I'm not against anyone trying to make extra money. Do what you got to do. You can start a business with this, a lifestyle with this. You don't have to, you can be your own boss. And since stuff like that has taken off, it's seeing more people jump into it. So it's just made it a lot tougher, and it's kind of changed the hobby to where you almost have to sell stuff yourself in order to keep up with it. Like when I buy a lot from somebody and it has 20 games I already have in it, but I only needed the 5 in it, but they don't want to sell things separately. So you buy the whole lot. Now I have to sell all the other stuff. It's like the only way to do it these days if you're trying to do it on a budget and for cheap. And I truly believe that's affected because of how YouTube and social media has showed, hey, you can do this, make extra money and everything. So it's just made competition so tough. And when you're an old fogey like me who's used to not having to deal with that back in the day, it's just made it tougher. I know, cry me a river because life got hard, but yeah, it just stinks. And lastly, it's because of people who are scumbag liars. I cannot stand a liar. I was in law enforcement for 15 years plus. I can spot a liar from a mile away. I can spot people of bad character and bad intent. And I just cannot stand it when I see these videos of people who want to go to yard sales and ask for video games or ask for their toys they're looking for if they're toy collectors. And you don't see any at the yard sale. But the lady goes in the house and says, oh, I found this, and it had some games with it. And she brings out a stack of box games here, probably valued at $500. And then she says, I don't know what it's all worth. So I'm trusting your judgment on it. And I have a video as proof of this. If you guys want me to dissect it in the future, I can show it to you guys because it happens. I don't know how much it's worth, so I trust you to make me a fair offer on what it's worth. So yeah. Now I can already see in the comments below. If she wanted to know what it's worth, she should have looked it up before she sold it. I get it. Okay. You can be that person, fine. Or you can be a person of good character and be trustworthy and actually be honest with her and tell her, well, like, hey, ma'am, it's worth $500, but would you take 200? There's nothing wrong with doing that. Like if you still want to offer a low amount, man, go for it. Shoot the shot and see what you can get. But just don't lie. Don't be dishonest, and don't be an untrustworthy person. That makes you scum. It makes you trash. I don't care what anyone says. You can't convince me otherwise. If you can't trust somebody, then what can you do with that person? So it's that's the messed up behavior that I see in videos. Now, same scenario, but she has this and all the games sitting on the table with a price tag of $50. Then hey, it's out on the table. She already put a price on it. Then yeah, she probably should have researched before she put that price on there. So I hope you guys can see the difference in the two scenarios. And if you can't see the difference, I can't help you. I'm sorry. I think it's pretty clear on it. But those are like the 3 things that really bother me when it comes to reselling. Anything else, I could care less about. Like, go for it. So let's dive into like 2 or 3 comments here real quick that I saw that I wanted to point out to kind of do a response to, and hopefully not drag my response out too long. Let's see, where is it at? This was the first one this is DJ Yig Tugged. So hopefully I pronounced that right. And again, if you watch this, like, respond again, man. Look forward to hearing it. We could talk in a Discord talk one day if you want. But we're going to call him DJ. DJ said, I think there's a big difference between a reseller and a scalper, which I don't know if I talked about scalping in this video or not. I can't remember. Most games are OOP. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. Aren't being scalped, as they aren't even available for sale at MSRP. The price online for them is just the market price. If people don't buy those games, the price goes down. Yeah, I agree with that. Scalping sucks for items that are currently out, getting bought up to sell over MSRP, but reselling, buying an item low, and selling it at a higher than you paid isn't a bad thing. Many of these items wouldn't be out there if it wasn't for those resellers who go out of the way to the stores, to garage sales, and buy their storage units and etc. They make those items available that otherwise weren't. That's the first part here that I'm going to have a little rebuttal to. So, again, I totally agree with the scalping being sucking. Like, again, the Pokemon stuff right now, sheesh, I feel sorry for you guys who are actually truly trying to collect Pokemon cards out there, or maybe sealed product, and those people are going in taking all them new Pokemon cards. Man, that's gotta suck to have to deal with that. But you don't really see that too much in video games. I know at some points there were like the PlayStation 30th anniversary thing had that problem, and sometimes limited things like that will have issues. But for the most part, I think in gaming we don't have much of a scalper issue because millions of copies of these things get sold unless it's some type of limited thing. But saying that if it wasn't for them making it available to us is something that I do disagree with, because I believe if the resellers who are going out of their way to do this stuff weren't in the collector's way, we would have found it at a garage sale. If the 50 resellers in my area weren't out hunting for the stuff, then the 10 collectors would have found it. Better odds of us finding the stuff. So I don't agree with that at all. That just because they make it available to us, I think there's enough collectors out there who do it. We don't need them to make it available to us. We can find it ourselves without them. They're just getting in the way. They're being a middleman who's just jacking up the price on us. So I don't think they're doing us any favors, unless it is a person who is like just solely buys at retail at home on a computer. Then they probably are doing that person a favor. But collectors who are trying to collect on a budget and who are doing the same thing that they do, it ain't benefiting us, man. It just makes it tougher. So I don't think they're doing us any favors by doing that. Then he goes on to say, the great thing is you can do exactly what those resellers are doing. Go out there and put in the work and get those items just as they do. But if you're not willing to do that, you're going to pay more for others to do so to make it easily accessible to you. Again, them making it easily accessible to us by we are out there doing what they're doing and they're getting in our way. And I don't like how you said go out there and put in the work. Going out shopping isn't work to me. Going out to yard sales and stuff, if you're doing it's because you're a collector and you like having fun. That's fun to go do. That is not work at all. It's going shopping. I know sometimes, especially us men, like going grocery shopping can feel like work. That sucks. But going out and doing collecting for my hobby, that's not work at all. Unless you mean that we have to sell stuff too. But I don't know if that's what you mean or not, because again, going out and going shopping isn't work. But if you mean like stuff like if I have to buy a collection and then list the doubles on eBay, then yes, that is work. It's work I can't stand. That's why I have piles of stuff here that just sit around because I don't feel like doing it. I hate it. But yeah, but I appreciate the comment, and I look forward to hearing you reply back if you watch the next video. If you think anything I said was wrong or anything, keep it going, man. I appreciate the comment, though. Another one down here from, see if you guys can see it, Major Chip Hazard. Man, I love me some Small Soldiers, and that was a movie I want my kids to watch. Small Soldiers. I was thinking of this the other day. And Jumanji. My kids haven't seen Jumanji yet with Robin Williams, man. I got my middle daughter. She is 10 years old. She hates movies. She can't watch any movie. She gets too invested in it emotionally, and she'll start crying and she thinks it's real and it just gets her nerves. So she can't watch stuff like that. We went to the theater and watched a Super Mario movie. She loved it. But like anything else, and the Peanuts movie, if you guys remember that one, she enjoyed that. But she's an emotional one. She gets too attached to that stuff. So I could not watch her. She could not watch Jumanji. It'd probably freak her out. But I need my kids to watch it. But anyways, that's a different topic. On the vendors at conventions, I help my buddy at a local toy convention sometimes, and vendors will sell or even do trades with each other early at every convention. Part of why they do it is that a lot of them collect themselves, so they get things for themselves, or a person will do a good deal for them next time. They also will see these vendors all the time. Are they friends? Not necessarily, but they see each other enough they don't mind helping each other out as an acquaintance. Another reason they do is they never know how good a show is going to be, and a lot of the time, they don't know if they're going to make their money. Well, they're going to make more money from the vendors than they do from non-vendors. Again, Major Chip Hazard, appreciate the comment and appreciate the name and the avatar picture. I don't think I pointed that out as an issue in my video. Again, I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but here in my small town, I set up a table at a local convention we do. I think we do it twice a year. I've only done it twice, so I'm not super familiar. But I've done it twice, and I take all my doubles up to that thing. And you're right, like vendors will come to my booth like, hey, I need that for my collection. You want to pick something out for mine and do a trade? Man, we do that stuff all the time at there. So I completely understand that. And I don't think I said anything about having an issue about that in my video. The issue I had was with someone like Chase going in and buying their inventory that would sell, because all he does is buy. You see the video challenges. I'll buy all the Pokemon games. I'll buy all the Mario games. I'll buy like the top 25 GameCube games or something. The best selling ones. He does stuff like that. And from my experience, just selling at those two shows and going to conventions and seeing what's in the booths that's not there when I get there, those games actually do sell. If I got a Mario game or a Pokemon game on my table here, even in my small town, it's gone. Especially at the price I put stuff at. Like it goes quickly. But that's the stuff that actually does sell. A vendor won't need to worry about that moving. I can understand like the end of the show or something, wanting to clear it all out and all the odd and end stuff wanting to sell. Like, for example, let me see for my game back here. Let's just take Bob here as an example. Or you know what? Let's do Genesis, because Genesis isn't as popular to collect for. I'm sorry for the Genesis people out there, but Nintendo is like the gold one. I think this Mystical Fighter game, complete in box that I just went up or picked up, I think I saw it around that $100 price mark. Might be a little bit more, if I'm correct. Maybe $120. I don't know. If I was to take this to my local convention, no one's going to buy this. No one's going to buy this because it's one of those oddball titles just in my small area no one's looking for. Maybe something big at a big show. A collector might see this and be like, oh, man, I've really been want to add that to my collection. And they would get it there. But this wouldn't move, so I can understand that thing with wanting to do bundle deals and stuff. But if I took this game, this is going to sell. One of the parents here who's like, oh, Sonic, I haven't played that in forever. They'd probably buy this with a Genesis so they could play it. And Mario stuff, like all that stuff just moves really fast. So my main contention was because Chase goes in and buys the good stuff that is going to sell at least 90% of its market value, yet he's getting like 70% of its market value. So he's not doing the vendors any favors, in my opinion, by doing that. But the vendor stuff, completely understand and agree. And I've seen it even here at my small show. Some vendors at the end of the day, they don't want to take none of their stuff back, so another vendor buys all their stuff. I've seen it, so hey, less work for them to have to do, completely understand. So let's see. We'll go through another one here. Let's go over a kind of one that's from this one right here. Scored at DX. Again, appreciate the comment here scored. There are always some deals that slip through the cracks. Many resellers are on the hunt for quick selling games like Pokemon, Mario, Zelda, and Sonic. See, like the stuff that will sell. Most of these titles I see are listed as the usual suspects. When resellers stick to the common games, it's no shocker that our prices will go up. It's like a pump and dump scheme. You might wonder why a basic game like Wii Sports is hitting $30 when retro shops can't even move it. Even the retro store owners have to give it away to their customers buying a Wii system. If you ask gamers whether they prefer Mario Kart or Super Mario Galaxy or Wii Sports, most will definitely choose Mario Kart or Galaxy. It's frustrating to see resellers hoarding multiple copies of Wii Sports thinking they'll cash in, while retro stores struggle to move them. Resellers and collectors have different goals. Collectors seek out rare, obscure titles, while resellers aim for the quick profits. Collectors can afford to wait for the right moment. That's why I'm not worried about resellers ruining the hobby. They may focus on the common games, but if you dig into the niche titles no one else is after, you can snag plenty of them at great prices. Which I would say this is very true. Like they do, because a lot of Phoenix and chasing them, they have buy lists. And when you look at their buy list for the stuff they're buying on his app and everything, it's like the common stuff, like that person pointed out, Wii Sports, everything like that. They're just trying to sell this good stuff. They don't have a mystical fighter on their buy list. The one problem with that is, again, just from my experience, the Facebook deals and stuff online, like they're normally bundled package deals, it's very rare, at least in my area, where you can see a game within a bundle and you ask them like, hey, can I get that game from you? They're like, no, I want to keep it all together. So a lot of times the resellers will see like all the basic stuff in that lot, so they end up buying the whole lot that even has the niche one in it. So it gets in their pocket too, just from my experience, but completely understand what you're saying there. The worst part of collecting is how easily online prices can get manipulated. If friends and family buy items at your eBay listed price, it skews the average on sites like Price Charting, causing prices to rise. I wouldn't be surprised if bots are used for multiple listings. This often creates a sense of FOMO. Oh man, the old FOMO, promoting people to buy at inflated prices. Eventually, local retro thrift stores will be reference price charting for their prices, which we see. I got the store that I go to an hour and a half away, 45 minutes away. Any high title games, they look it up before they sell it. Leaving collectors in the lurch. The best thing we can do is expose the deception and call out those who try to take advantage of others. So completely agree. Completely agree on a lot of what you said. And by the way, awesome Avatar picture, Metroid, like my favorite franchises out there. So really appreciate the Samus picture. So let's go ahead and make this big. I've been rambling long enough. Again, I could talk about this topic and stuff all the time and just go over video footage, like I said, of stuff, of behavior that I think is not cool. But again, for the most part, it seems split 50-50, like right down the middle of everyone's thoughts on reselling. So again, like to hear what you guys think. I shared my thoughts with y'all, like the 3 things that really tick me off. Other than that, I really don't have issues with anyone. And I give a hand to like people like Phoenix Resale and even Chase After the Right Price. Like those guys, Phoenix really is the one who, that guy is smart. He's business savvy and he turned it into a business that's making money. He's able to take care of friends, his family, and give them jobs. Chase is able to give his friends jobs so they can support their families. So kudos to him for being able to do something like that. I never hate anyone or anything like that. So I appreciate them for what they did for the businesses they created and the jobs they provided with their friends. But they are kind of hurting the hobby just by making it a lot tougher. But again, like to see what you guys think in the comments below. Sorry if this dragged on too long. My back hurts, and I'm going to bed. See you guys in the next one.